Hi everyone, and welcome to row 5 of the Veronica Doily. As we've done in all the other rows, you decide how you'd like to start and finish your final row. I'm using two different colours. I'm going to tap over tails and I'm using the magic thread trick to hide my ends. Now back in the second video I touched on why we reverse our work. So remembering that our chains curve down when we make them, you can see that in this part of row 5 our chains are changing direction. I'm going to show you a technique known as the shoelace trick to help us complete this part of the doily. You can see the designer has made a note across the threads, and that's what she means. She's talking about the shoelace trick. Starting ring A, we have 3 double stitches. Decorative picot and 1, a decorative picot and 2. So we have 1, 2, 3 picot, 1 picot and 2. We're joining back to ring K on row 4. Make sure you're joining into the bottom picot on ring K. We have 3. Joining picot and 6. Close your ring. And reverse your work. I'm going to get rid of my tail. Set your hand up to chain 10. I'm using this loop to hide my tails. I'm also going to put in my magic thread. So I'm going to run those two through together. We have a decorative picot and another 10. Snug your chain. Before we reverse our work, we're going to snip off that tail. And then I'll fit it on. Okay, if you have a moment and discover that your magic thread loop is in the wrong way, I've done this simply to show you guys how to fix it. Grab another magic loop, put the tails through like that. I'm going to use my quilting grips and pull that back through. We need our loop up here so that when we work our way around, our loop is at the base of our ring to pull our tails through. So grab those ends and use your magic loop to pull another magic loop through. Obviously don't pull it all the way. Take that one out. Now our loop is facing the right direction. Okay, so we've done our chain. Reverse your work. We're going to set up for ring B. We're doing 6. Joining back to ring A. We have 3. And we're joining back to the top picot of ring K. We have 2. Decorative picot and 1. Decorative picot and 3. Close your ring. And reverse your work. Set up for a chain. And we're chaining 9. snug your ring, snug your chain, and reverse your work. Set up for ring C. We have 2. Decorative picot and 3. We're joining back to ring G of row 4. After the join we have 3. Decorative picot and 2. Close your ring but don't reverse your work. Our next chain curves down, so we're already facing in the right direction to make our chain. That's why we didn't reverse our work after closing our ring. But shuttle 1 needs to be on top, so we're going to use the shoelace trick and swap our threads over. So we're going to pretend that we're starting to tie our shoes. Lay your work out in front of you. You should have your working thread to the left and your core thread to the right. Check that your threads aren't twisted and tangled. We want a clear path. Take your shuttles, cross them over each other, making sure your core thread passes over the top of your working thread. Pass your core thread under the working thread and back out. We've just done the first part of tying our shoes. Pull this down so that it sits snugly up against your ring. And that's it. We've just swapped the position of our threads. What was our core thread has just become our working thread. Our working thread has just become our core thread. In this case we're using the shoelace trick because our chain is changing direction. We need to change the position of our threads so that we can continue with the pattern. If we continued without swapping our threads over, our chain wouldn't sit properly, and in my case I'd also have an issue with continuity. My rings are blue and my chains are red, so if I didn't use the shoelace trick my next chain would be blue because my working thread would still be blue. So for this instance the shoelace trick is serving a double purpose for me. You can use it simply to change colours without needing to change direction. For example, if I wanted my first ring, ring A and B, to be blue, but I wanted the chain to be blue instead of red, I'd close ring A and use the shoelace trick to swap my threads over, which would make my working thread blue, ready for that chain. Another common place to use this technique is when you're getting low on thread. So rings are thread eaters. We use more thread making rings than we do to make chains. So the shuttle that you're using for your rings is likely to empty out first. If you have the same colour in both shuttles, you can use the shoelace trick to swap your shuttles over, giving you more thread for your rings and hopefully allowing you to finish without needing to add thread. So there's nothing worse than being really close to the end and having to add thread and mess around with hiding tails. The shoelace trick is much faster and easier to do. You can use it throughout the whole pattern. Use it as often as you need to, whether it's to change colours or to eke out that last bit of thread. The other thing I wanted to mention, and you may have already noticed, but with doing the shoelace trick in 2 different colours, we get a colour blip with our work. So if I back that out, as we're pulling that down, you can pull on the thread and it will flip, and we eliminate our colour blip. Righto, back to our pattern. We've just done the shoelace trick and swapped our threads over. Now set your hand up for a chain. If you're working front side, back side, remember we haven't reversed our work. We're still working on the front side. So our stitches for our chain now need to be worked first half, second half. We're chaining 11. Snug your stitches and turn your work. Set up for ring D. Now once again, if you're working front side, back side, we are now on the back side of our work. So our ring needs to be worked in reverse order. So second half first, first half second. We're making 2 double stitches. Decorative picot and 2. Decorative picot and 2. And a decorative picot and 2. Close your ring and reverse your work. Set up for the next chain. We're chaining 11. Because we're on the front side of our work again, front side, back side tatters will make the chain with the first half, second half. Snug your chain. Don't reverse your work. We need to use the shoelace trick again. So lay your shuttles both in front of you, swap them over. Take your core thread, loop it under, and back out, and pull that down so it's nice and close. And set up for ring E. We have 2. Decorative picot and 3. Joining back to ring F in row 4. 3, a decorative picot, and 2. Close your ring. Reverse your work. And we're going to chain 9. Snag your stitches, reverse your work, and set your hand up for ring F. Once again, work your way around. Remember to include your loop if you're using the magic thread trick to hide your tails. Block your work and enjoy your beautiful doily. Now there's techniques in this video which I have flown over and not explained properly. That's because I've covered them in earlier videos. I'll include a list of the techniques along with links to where you can find that information in the description box. So I really hope you've enjoyed making the Veronica Doily with me. I know I've had fun making the videos, so until next time, enjoy your tatting.